can I say? I like Jeeps. This right here is my 2003 Wrangler TJ, which I love and adore and drive every day. And I have now acquired my second Jeep. It has the exact same engine, and it's going to be an interesting project to say the least. But it's not just another Cherokee. Oh no. This right here is my awesome 1990 Jeep Comanche Eliminator. It's going to be really cool to work on. Now, we'll start off with a quick walk around. As you can see, it's got a coat of what I believe is barbecue paint. So it's got a matte black finish, which is a little trashy looking, to be honest. It's really not in bad shape cosmetically, and it does have a really nice set of Falcon tires on these cool off-brand off-road rims, which I think is pretty nice. Cool little American flag there. After all, it is American made. One of the really cool parts that I love is the tailgate with the Jeep emblem embossed on it. Aftermarket bumper as well. And perhaps the most impressive part, the bed. Now, this is a 30-year-old car. I was really paranoid about what I would see when I got to the bed. Totally rust-free. Not even a speck of rust on this entire truck bed. Now, upon opening this poorly aligned door, we get one beautiful interior. I mean, everything down to the carpets, you know, stains, dirt, but no rot. These seats have absolutely no tears, not even scratches on the vinyl, which I think is awesome. And this is the Eliminator package, which is pretty uncommon and pretty darn cool. Comes with the hockey stick armrest. It has both cloth behind the seats and on the headliner. Since it is an Eliminator, it does not have four-wheel drive, but it is a 5-speed, and it shifts really smooth. Previous owner just put a new clutch in it. About the only thing it needs for the interior is going to be this little bright switch right here, which currently doesn't do anything. Does need some work on the gauge cluster, and I'd like to find an original stereo, which shouldn't be hard because it's the same as Cherokee's. But something that's crazy, take a look at those miles. 416,404. Now, that is the highest mileage I have ever purchased a car at by a margin of about 150,000 miles. And even cooler than that, this Jeep has had one owner since new. I purchased it from the first owner. He bought the Eliminator package off the showroom floor in black, as you might have seen by a little bit of the interior trim. And he's owned it its entire life, which is both a blessing and a curse. On one hand, it means he's kept up the maintenance really well for it to go 415,000 miles. But his repair work was a little bit questionable in some places, which I'll get into later. But this is a one owner, almost rust-free, awesome example of a 1990 Comanche. So I am absolutely stoked about it. Now here's something I was excited to see. It's got the 4-liter inline 6, which is the exact same engine I have on my Wrangler, just a couple years older. Known for being very reliable, and considering the mileage, I'd say that's a pretty accurate statement. I already started a little bit of work on it just to take a look, so I've loosened the valve cover since the valve cover gaskets are leaking, which is hardly a surprise. It's even the case on my TJ right now. I also opened up the air box. Air filter was pretty dirty, so I already threw that out. Also had some slight issues with this jerry-rigged hose way down here. And it's on fire. Saw a lot of smoke. That'll do it. Wow. Interesting. Okay. That was interesting. And speaking of that, duct tape is also not a factory option on these, so this is a little concerning. It does have issues with idling a lot higher than it should, so I've ordered a new IAC. I'm planning to fix all those air issues because an air leak could be contributing to that. And I'm willing to wager the farther I dive into this, the more issues I'm going to find. That being said, I have since checked the oil and all of the fluid levels. It does have a power steering leak, but the oil is clean. All the spark plugs are fresh. All other fluids, I guess, are topped off. So, you know, I'm happy to see that it has been well maintained, and I'm excited to dive a little bit more into it. Now, underneath, you can see a couple more issues that this little Comanche's got. Right here, we have some screws just kind of drilled right into the exhaust, which is not ideal. Not a big fan of that. So I'm not sure whether I'm going to upgrade the exhaust or just try and pull a replacement off of another Cherokee. Engine-wise, I don't think you can see much. Oh boy, let's try that. And there we go, cool. Engine-wise, not a lot of leaks. You know, the valve cover gasket was leaking. It's also leaking power steering fluid, so you know, once that's sorted out, no major leaks. Oil pan's not leaking, so you know, that's a plus. Another, let's see if I can bend this back right on. Another point of concern is going to be back here. I'm going to flatten this camera out. Here we've got a drive shaft, and here is where it connects to the diff. And if you can't see that well enough, those are plastic bags just kind of wedged in there. I'm guessing it had a leak, and he just kind of threw whatever he could at it to try and patch it. Kind of same story on the exhaust manifold. It has silicone on it. I mean, even the shifter boot inside has silicone just kind of holding it on. So, you know, those are definitely causes for concern. Another cause of concern, I'm just going to go and flip the camera here if I can, is going to be on the rear. Here we have a shock. Not sure how good these shocks are anymore, but what's more concerning is that this side doesn't have a shock. And believe me, when you hit a bump in this thing, you will feel it. So I'm going to need to throw some set of shocks on this. I'll probably just go all around, just make it look a little better. You can even see it's supposed to be there. It is no longer. But, you know, like I said, the more I dive into this, the more I'm going to see is wrong. But at least from the surface, it does look pretty darn good. Oh, another shot of that rust too. See, that's that and the driver door here are my main peeves with the body, but you know, aside from that, I'm not too worried about it. Now you can see here too, a couple more imperfections. We've got big crack on the windshield. This dash, he actually does have a nicer dash cover on it, which makes it a lot less noticeable, but it is pretty darn beat. Sun visors are pretty darn dead. We're also missing the radio in it. The gauge does not have a speedo needle. All the rest of the gauges work though, which is kind of nice. Oh boy, I don't get it. You know, just little things, and I'm anticipating finding a lot of this stuff just on other parts Cherokees around here, so you know, hopefully we'll get all that kind of stuff sorted out. So overall, I'm stoked about the truck. I'd love to start it up and do a little test drive, and you know, when I picked it up, I went up to Village Hills, I believe it's called. It's about 45 minutes away, and I drove this truck back. It made it the whole way. I mean, I was going about 40 miles an hour on the highway, but still, it made it. Very next day when I started working, I had an engine fire, so not too keen on starting it right now, plus I already have some parts off of it. But I guess all I could say is, believe me, it runs and drives. It just doesn't necessarily sound the best or perform the best, but you know, it's a good starting point. It means at least it runs, so you know, it's going to save a lot of hassle later. Overall though, I'm absolutely thrilled with this. You know, I didn't pay too much for it. I bought it for $1,200. This is a one owner truck, so you know, I'm kind of happy about that. That makes it really cool. So it's just going to be a really cool project altogether. I'm hoping I can make it turn out really nice. You know, I want it to kind of make it look a little bit more like the original Eliminator package, because you know, I don't think I've ever seen an Eliminator Comanche before. So we'll see how it goes. I'm stoked for it. Let's get this bad boy back on the road.